resources and officers to parts of the city. Captain Wes Morris from the department stopped by the studio this morning. So we got to talk to him about a number of issues, and we asked him about how police will handle potentially dangerous situations like the one that happened in Pacific Beach back in 2021, which involved opposing groups of protesters.
Certainly, acknowledge the First Amendment rights to both assemble and to free speech. But when it comes to acts of violence, vandalism, destruction of property, that will not be tolerated. And we'll take swift action on those types of things.
If you are feeling a little nervous about voting in person, he says you can still go drop off your ballot at a drop-off box or point. But if you go in person and you see something suspicious, Captain Morris urges you to say something to one of the poll workers there. He added there are no signs or intel of any local violence, but they're just trying to be as prepared for anything as possible. If you have not voted yet, 200 voting centers are now open across our county. This is where you can vote in person or drop off those ballots. You can check the status of your vote. You can go to sdvote.com to do that to make sure your voice is heard. And if you need a ride getting to a voting center, the North County Transit District has you covered with some options here. On Election Day, they will offer free rides to everyone wanting to use some of these services here. So this includes the Coaster, the Sprinter, the Breeze, the Flex, and Lyft. No ticket is needed. You just show up and you ride. By the way, the promotion does not include Amtrak or MTS services. The homeless crisis will certainly be one of the most pressing issues for voters casting ballots in San Diego's mayoral race. It's the final push right now for Mayor Todd Gloria and challenger Larry Turner's campaigns. Just a year ago, Turner, right there, a police officer and Marine vet, was not a recognizable name or face in San Diego politics. He makes the case this is exactly why voters should trust him, while the incumbent mayor, Gloria, arguing he has the political awareness to hold the highest office in one of America's biggest cities.
My steady hand is what's got us through a pandemic, a recession, and can keep us on a path where we're actually getting progress.
They've trusted me for a long time. They just didn't know my name. When they called 911.
Just as a reminder, we have you covered here at NBC7 tomorrow on Election Day. We have a special newscast for you starting at 3 p.m. That's going to be followed by NBC News coverage throughout the afternoon and into the evening with our network team. We're going to be back for you locally at 11 o'clock for the late night news coverage right here on NBC7. And by the way, if you're wanting local coverage throughout the night, we're going to have streaming options for you. That's starting at 8 p.m. on your favorite streaming platform. Just search NBC San Diego News. First chance to catch up with NBC7 meteorologist Brooke Martell and our first alert forecast. So tell us about this view behind you, Brooke, because it's not often we get to see it this clearly.
So this is Mount Helix, the view from Mount Helix. And usually we don't get to see out to the ocean there, Stephen. So yeah, you're right. These clear skies, these breezy conditions, we really do have clear blue skies across the county, but it's a gorgeous shot for us on this Monday as we kick off another week. Now, I want to take a look at some of your local weather headlines and what you need to know for today and the upcoming week, because there's some changes that are going to keep us on high alert here. So we do have mostly clear skies for today, mild temperatures. We've had those breezy winds across our mountain communities, easterly winds. So that's driving down the humidity levels. That elevates the fire threat for us, not just today, but as we look ahead to the rest of your week. So another round of Santa Anas as we get into about Wednesday through Friday. That's what we're forecasting right now. So if we take a closer look at the wind gusts right now across the county, not too bad. You could see they're less than 10 miles per hour with the exception of Campo. Meantime, this is a look at your future wind gust in direction. The potential for these wind gusts to get up to about 20 miles per hour as we head into the 3 o'clock hour for Julian, Pine Valley, Campo, all shifting out of the east and the northeast. And then you could see here over the coastline, close to about 10 miles per hour, similar conditions for our valleys. This is a look at midnight, and you can see we still have some activity over Pine Valley. Otherwise, those conditions are going to start to taper. Another thing we need to consider today and through the upcoming week is going to be the humidity levels that are continuously dropping to the teens here as we go into the afternoon hours. So just giving you that idea of how dry it is out there, and that's why the fire threat is elevated. So we'll continue to see something similar to this again as we go into about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, when we have that second round of easterly winds that will pick up over the mountain communities. And we don't have any watches and warnings in effect right now, but you can see here to our north, there definitely are a few, Stephen. I'll send it back over to you.
All right, Brooke, we'll see you soon. He was out delivering food for Uber Eats when all of a sudden he saw something very unexpected, a home on fire. We catch up with a man who risked his own life to save a stranger. In 3 years after her mysterious disappearance, We're hearing from a Fallbrook family still searching for an 83-year-old grandmother.
You're watching NBC7 San Diego. Coverage you count on.
Here's what voting yes on 35 means.
Yes means keeping hospitals and ERs open.
Yes means more healthcare workers.
And protecting Medi-Cal for 15 million Californians
Without raising taxes.
Vote yes on 35.
Their concerns around inflation as it pertains to these policies is way overblown.
Mike Levin lost touch. He backed higher gas taxes, spends his days partying with Pelosi. On inflation and taxes, Levin's just too liberal. Matt Gunderson is pro-choice on abortion and a girl dad to 4. He'll stop inflation and cut our taxes. Moderate Matt and liberal Levin. Who would be best for you and your family?
I'm Matt Gunderson, and I approve this message.
Politician Chris Duncan. First, he voted to double his salary. Now he wants to raise your taxes. Duncan supported higher fees on everything from housing to trash pickup, even pickleball. It gets worse. Now Duncan wants to repeal Prop 13 and raise property taxes.
To keep taxes low, Lori Davies. Davies opposes higher property taxes. And Davies fought to pass the largest middle-class tax cut in California history. Lori Davies, a champion for taxpayers.
Some politicians will say anything to get elected. Matt Gunderson, he lied straight to your face. The truth is, Gunderson bankrolled extreme groups that want to ban abortion, opposed protecting access to abortion in California, and Gunderson is supported by extremists who want a total abortion ban. No matter what Gunderson says, we know the truth. Matt Gunderson is a dangerous liar. Keep him out of Congress. HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Here's what voting yes on 35 means.
Yes means keeping hospitals and ERs open.
Yes means more healthcare workers.
and protecting Medi-Cal for 15 million Californians.
Without raising taxes.
Vote yes on 35.
First Alert Weather is certified most accurate in San Diego by WeatherRate, an independent service that tracks forecasts.
Use your SDCCU debit card and pay as credit, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win double your purchase, up to $1,000. For details, visit sdccu.com.
It has been 3 years since the disappearance of a Fallbrook woman that was first reported by her partner. Though she's been missing now for years, her family hasn't lost hope. NBC7's Jeanette Quesada spoke with the family as they continue their search for answers.
The missing Fallbrook grandmother was 83 years old when she disappeared. These past 3 years, her family has not stopped searching. They say they will not give up until they find her and find out what happened.
It's been really hard to watch the family go through the torture of what could have happened to her.
That's how Doreen Swart describes the last 3 years for her family. Her grandmother-in-law, Elena Roy, was last seen 3 years ago today near Wood Creek Drive in Fallbrook, according to the San Diego County Sheriff's Department.
It's been devastating, heartbreaking, to say the least.
Elena is 5 feet and 4 inches tall and weighs about 120 pounds. She has graying dark hair and wears glasses. Her family says she had memory issues. Since her disappearance, family says they've combed through places she visited often, hoping to find her.
She just disappeared off the face of the planet without a trace.
Days following Elena's disappearance, her partner, Chris Cataldo, told NBC7 they had gotten into a small argument over the placement of a picture frame they had talked about before. Since that day, family has been doing their own investigating, hoping to bring their loved one home. Though they've not been able to find her, they do say her name has been used in suspicious activity in Riverside County and 2 other states.
Is someone using her name to get financial gain, or is she out there and we just don't know where she is, which is a little far-fetched for us to believe that she would just disappear and not, contact her family.
Though there are many questions that remain unanswered, bringing Elena home remains at the top of their mind.
Did she suffer? Is she still alive? Is she deceased somewhere? What happened to her?
Jeanette Quesada, NBC7.
Elena's family is asking anyone who may have seen her or come across someone using her name to report it to the San Diego Sheriff's Department. The Fairmount fire is 90% surrounded. It's pretty much out, but neighbors in the Talmadge area have big concerns after it threatened their community. Homeowners say they're thankful for the quick actions by first responders after this fire came within feet of some of their homes on Thursday. And while investigators say they're still looking into what caused it, they do believe it started near a homeless encampment. Homeowners say this has been a concern for years.
The encampments, of course, are a concern. As I say, we know that there was a known encampment down at the end of Montezuma and Fairmont, which has been reported to several local agencies, reported to get it done. It's very, very upsetting to know that our neighborhood could have burnt based on something that was a known quote.
San Diego Fire Rescue crews are still patrolling the area just to be on alert for hot spots or any flare-ups. A Vista woman is recovering in the hospital after a stranger saved her from her burning home. The man was working as an Uber Eats driver when he saw the smoke and the flames and rushed into action to rescue her. Now, we first brought you this story as breaking news Friday morning. Nas Mohammed's routine Uber Eats shift took a turn, though, when he smelled that smoke and found the home on fire. After knocking a few times, he met a man who said his wife and their cats were inside. With no medical training and only his phone's light to help guide him through the heavy smoke, he climbed through a window and found the woman. First responders arrived soon after and were able to help him hoist her to safety.
She's like, "What is your name? What is your name?" 3-4 times, and I can't breathe. I can't talk. Every time I talk, I start having some coughing and black things coming out from my mouth. So finally, I told her my name. And she held my hand and she like, "You saved me, you saved my life." I told her, "God save us." As a man, you hear a woman, an old woman screaming, burning, I can't stay outside.
And some of the video there, you saw Mohammed laying down, gasping for air himself. First responders airlifted the woman to the hospital. She has since been discharged with minor injuries. Mohammed spent the night in the hospital as well, recovering from some burns and smoke inhalation. Fire investigators believe it may have been the stove, which was left on by mistake, which started this. And they say it's just a good safety reminder with the holidays right around the corner. Thousands of Sharp healthcare workers in San Diego just voted to approve a 5-day strike. The hospital and the union, which represents about 5,000 workers, have been in negotiations now since June of last year. Both sides have been unable to come to any sort of agreement over staffing and pay. The work stoppage would not impact Sharp nurses who are represented by a different union. Still no word on when the strike would take place, but it would involve workers from Sharp Grossmont, Hospice Care, Chula Vista Medical Center, Memorial Hospital, Mesa Vista Hospital, and Mary Birch Hospital for Women and Newborns. Sharp Healthcare responding to the union's decision, releasing a statement that in part says this, quote, "Staffing levels at Sharp hospitals are among the highest in the state. Sharp has offered the union a 21% increase on average over a 3-year contract. Hospital officials say they stand ready with resources and personnel to meet the healthcare needs of patients if there is a strike." Well, it's starting to feel like fall in San Diego, a little chillier, but look at this. In some parts of our state, it looks a lot like winter, which is good news if you want to hit the slopes soon. This is Mammoth Mountain, by the way. They just announced their opening date for the upcoming season, and the resort says that you'll be able to circle the calendar right now, November 15th, and hit the slopes. We'll see if they get some more snow, because that's not enough right there, Brooke, for all of the skiers and snowboarders who want to take advantage of it. But hey, it's a start. You got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly. I know. It's crazy that it's already that time of the year, Stephen, that we're moving right into the holiday season. So many people will be heading to the mountains for skiing, snowboarding. But as we look ahead to today and the rest of your week, dry conditions here really over most of the state, because we do have those Santa Anas developing mainly over Los Angeles County and San Bernardino County, the Inland Empire. Meantime, hourly forecast for downtown, right around the low 70s heading into 2 o'clock. We'll stay close to that at least through 4 p.m. Once the sun goes down, then those temperatures start to taper. And we know that the sun is setting a little bit earlier now with the time change. So we're going to be back to about the mid 50s by 9 p.m. Temperatures overnight close to the low 50s for downtown and most of your coastline. Here's a look at Santee. We have mid 70s going into the peak hours of the day. And then by 8 p.m. back to those upper 50s. We'll definitely have those chilly overnight lows from the 40s over the valleys and the mountains. But as we look ahead to this afternoon here, upper 60s mainly for your coastline, low 70s for downtown. We have mid to upper upper 70s over the inland valleys, 50s to the low 60s for the mountains, and mid 70s for Borrego Springs across your desert region. A couple changes on the way. So what we're going to see is that this high pressure will start to build a little bit more over the west coast, and then we'll have a low move in here over the Four Corners. And between these two, this could actually bring the second chance of Santa Ana winds by about midweek. So this is what that looks like. You can see here, temperatures are going to stay fairly consistent. But for your 10-day forecast, you can see looking ahead to tomorrow, we're right around those low 70s at the coast. We stay close to that really heading into the weekend. But between Wednesday and Friday is when we're anticipating some breezy conditions. Wouldn't necessarily concern the coast as much, but we'll definitely feel that dryness across the coastline and over the inland valley communities too, because as we know, these easterly winds drive those humidity levels down. And looking at the mountain communities here, temperatures will fluctuate a little bit over the next 24 hours, bringing us back into the mid 60s on Tuesday before we taper to those 50s through the end of the week. Your desert region will see a similar trend. We'll bump up tomorrow and then we'll level out a little bit through Friday. Stay with us. We have more news coming up right after the break.
You're watching NBC7 San Diego. Coverage you count on.
You see it on the news? I saw it in my store.
Smash and grab thieves hit local stores like mine. So stores have to lock up items, raise prices to cover loss due to theft,
and even close our doors.
Prop 36 will fix the mess our politicians have ignored for far too long.
Prop 36 increases penalties for smash and grab crimes, a balanced approach that closes loopholes that criminals exploit.
Want to stop smash and grab criminals?
Vote yes on Prop 36.
There's a reason Mike Levin has been named one of the most effective members of Congress. Since taking office in 2019, he has returned more than $931 million in federal funds to our district to help solve local problems. Mike Levin works with Democrats, Republicans, and independents. He brings local, state, and federal government together. While others fight petty partisan battles, Mike Levin fights to make a difference for our communities, for our families.
I'm Mike Levin, and I approve this message.
Across San Diego, you can see it. Where tents once stood, the sidewalks are clear. And it's thanks to the leadership of Mayor Todd Gloria. Gloria cracked down on homeless encampments and reduced the number of tents downtown by 82%. All while raising the shelter capacity and enhancing services for substance abuse and mental health. And he's just getting started. This November, let's finish the job. Re-elect Mayor Todd Gloria. Todd Gloria, leadership in action.
Teeny weeny water leaks can become plumbing disasters. She blows. We check plumbing problems free.
ASI, the White Glove guys. 1-800-481-COOL.
When it costs more than $100 to fill up your tank, something's wrong. But Gavin Newsom and the Sacramento politicians, they have a plan to increase your prices by another 47 cents a gallon. We need fighters in Sacramento, people that'll stand up for us. We need Christy Bruce Lane in the assembly.
I'm Christy Bruce Lane. With your vote, I'll stop Gavin Newsom from raising your gas prices even more. It's time to fix the Golden State.
NBC7's First Alert Weather is San Diego's most accurate forecast.
Quincy Jones passed away last night at the age of 91, surrounded by loved ones at his home. His death marking the end of an era in American music. NBC's Joe Fryer takes a look back at his incredible life.
Known to so many simply as Q. For more than 60 years, Quincy Jones shaped music history as a producer, arranger, musician, and legendary collaborator. Born in 1933, Quincy Delight Jones Jr. discovered an early love for music, riffing on the trumpet with the Seattle jazz scene.
We were working grown-up nightclubs until 4 and 5 in the morning when we were 13 and 14 years old.
Before long, Jones discovered his true passion, arranging and producing. Breaking barriers and working with music legends.
I would like to have you meet a gentleman who's been doing these marvelous orchestrations for me, Mr. Quincy Jones, right there. Fly me to the moon.
Composing music for Hollywood films and iconic TV shows, including the theme for Roots. Perhaps his biggest collaboration changed the landscape of music. producing 3 blockbuster albums with Michael Jackson, including the best-selling album of all time.
It was a great ride. The whole 80s was great for me.
Another highlight of that decade,
1, 2.
Jones was the driving force behind a legendary collaboration, the top artists of the time releasing We Are the World to raise money for famine relief. The project was captured in a recent Netflix documentary, Jones spanning decades of musical evolution.
I feel blessed to have been born in that era, to have come up with swing all the way up through to rap today. Blessed, absolutely blessed.
Quincy Jones, a musical visionary who filled the world with so much rhythm simply by following his own beats. Even into his 9th decade, he told Al Roker the music was still in him.
I feel like I'm just getting started.
You're just getting started.
Yeah, man, I really do.
What a legacy. Happening right now, Memorial Blood Drive is being held to honor the legacy. Speaking of which, local basketball legend Bill Walton leaves a huge one behind. The public is invited to come out and donate at the Mission Valley YMCA. Walton was a member there. Just people rubbed shoulders with him. He was just like a normal guy. And they actually installed a plaque there that reads, "Thank you for giving priority to our taller members" there. The Y is hoping to bring the community through today's blood drive, just as Walton did.
If you're healthy and able, I would come out and donate. It's for a great cause. There's so many people every day that need blood. And if you are able to donate, I would really encourage you to come out.
The blood drive goes to 7 o'clock at the Mission Valley YMCA along Friars Road. All donors will receive an exclusive limited edition Bill Walton Memorial Blood Drive t-shirt. Finally, daylight saving time ended yesterday, and though it might seem like gaining another hour doesn't make much of a difference, some say it does. There are ways to reduce this, though. Doctors recommend adjusting your routine. If you feel sleepy, try to keep the nap to 15 or 20 minutes and avoid napping altogether to get back on track. It'll help you sleep better at night. Experts also recommend soaking up as much sun as you can during the day, especially because the sun goes down so much sooner, an hour sooner to be exact. And practice good sleep hygiene. It means limiting screen time before bed and reducing your caffeine and alcohol intake. Probably good advice all year round. Let's be honest, though, falling back, certainly a lot easier than springing forward for so much of us. We'll be seeing you right back here in just a few minutes, right here on NBC7.
It all comes down to this. Join NBC News for election night coverage. On the ground, across the country as polls close, and up to the minute results as they come in. Tomorrow on NBC.
Chris Duncan wants to be our assemblyman?
No way. He's too extreme.
He wants to end Medicare, putting bureaucrats in charge of our healthcare decisions.
Instead of my doctor.
That is crazy.
Chris Duncan.
Don't mess with Medicare. Who's really behind